As of today, we have 361 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the Coastal Health District and 9 deaths. That includes 35 cases and 2 deaths in Bryan County, 27 cases in Camden County, 26 cases and 1 death in Effingham County, 49 cases in Glenn County, 33 cases in Liberty County, 2 cases in Long County. McIntosh County has 4 cases, and here in Chatham County, 185 cases, and we've now ticked up to 6 deaths in that area, although I think we all have reason to believe that's a low number. We're just trying to figure out why. But right now, 185 cases and 6 deaths. In terms of my report, I don't have much at all. I will tell you that the governor is making an address at 4:00 p.m. I do not know the context or any information that he's going to give, so I want to reserve any comment until after the time that the governor has given his comments. It could go from reaffirming say a place of order, or lifting it, or modifying it in some kind of way. So just until then, I really don't have a feel for, for what's going to be said, because obviously anything we say here could change on a dime in a little less than an hour. So, Mr. City Manager, do you have anything, sir?
One item just real quickly, the back order on the thermometer should be filled this week. So that means starting next week, the city should start its protocol for temperature checks for anyone entering into a city building. And that will also include workers, just as an additional precaution, make sure that no temperatures are in excess of 100.4 degrees, which is also consistent with the governor's last emergency.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, you have anything, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Alderman Bass.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to just report some findings that I came across, which was some very good news. I just want to report this to us. I read in the Augusta Chronicle.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could, somebody has the speakers on loud. We're hearing kind of some.
Okay, hold on. What about now?
It's better.
Okay. In reading in the Augusta Chronicle, the Augusta Commissioner, they unanimously approved a wonderful initiative that I just want to report to us, and the city manager, and I would ask if you would follow up with this information, and it's called the Hotels for the Homeless Initiative. On last Tuesday, on August the 14th, they approved this, and what they have done, they have gotten in contact with hotels in their city, and the hotels will be housing the homeless in this hotel. One specifically is the DoubleTree. The DoubleTree by Hilton on Perimeter Parkway. And I talked with let me get the department, the Housing and Development Department in Augusta. I talked with Deputy Director Sharanta Lewis. I talked in detail with her because I was calling for the director. His name is Hawthorne Welcher, to congratulate them on such a wonderful effort, an initiative that they have done in Augusta. And due to the fact that we want to make, like them, we want to make our city to continue to be a healthy city, coming out of this COVID-19. We want our folks to be mentally, physically, and financially healthy coming out of this. And this is one of the things that they too seek to do for their city. And with this initiative in homing the housing the homeless in hotels. And since this has happened, they've gotten other hotels in the city of Augusta that have called in, and they are too asking to come on board with this. This is also a part of the stimulus, the federal stimulus package. They are going to be, I'm pretty sure, paid from this particular money from the federal government. The hotels will be. Now, one thing that is mentioned in this article, and that is, and I just want to make this clear, that they specifically said that they're not just taking people if they look homeless. There is a process that they are going through, which they are doing interviews. You have to fill out applications with their assistance. Confirmation has to be done in making sure that that these persons' families are actually homeless. So, City Manager, I'm asking if you would follow up, and I would like for you to stay with me and close to me with some updates.
Lindsay Bryan.
In contact with Director Hawthorne Welcher of the Housing and Development Department of the City of Augusta, and also the Deputy Director. I have their telephone numbers, and I will give you those telephone numbers offline. That's all I have right now, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. City Manager, I've been in contact with Mayor Hardy Davis of Augusta. I'll brief you after this call on that as well. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can you say that one more time?
I said I've been in contact with Mayor Davis. And I was going to brief the city manager as well to give him additional information.
Yes.
Right? We have some information. We have hotels. Yeah, we have hotels.
That's our friend from the Georgia Black Municipal, our organization with the state. Yes. All right.
Thank you. Alderwoman Gibson Carter.
Good afternoon. My questions are directed to the city manager. We have been corresponding back and forth since Friday on a few things, and I haven't had an opportunity to check my email since earlier this morning. And I responded to Ashley from Revenue about locations for the wedding venue question I had. Several hospitality and wedding venues who can only provide alcohol service on Saturdays. I'm sorry, they cannot provide alcohol service on Sundays because they do not have an in-house catering service. So the question was, is it possible as they seek to reschedule, can they schedule events for Sunday and have alcohol service possibly through to the first part of next year, as to give them more options when it comes to rescheduling? What's happening is they're running out of Saturdays, and so as to not lose opportunities to serve brides and other events, they want to be able to offer Sundays as well. Did we get any more information on that yet?
So in your last email, you sent the Revenue Office 3 locations, and we're verifying those locations.
Okay, so we're still working on it?
Yes, ma'am. I think you only sent that, it was right before noon, I believe, and I forwarded it on to the Revenue Office. So
okay.
We're verifying that information. We'll get it back to you by tomorrow.
Okay, I wanted to ask for the benefit of the public as well, just to acknowledge that we're working on that. And then with regard to the sales tax question for the bar, some of the bar owners want to know if the remainder of their taxes for March can be prorated, since they only were in operation for the first half of March. And I'm not quite sure I followed the gentleman with regard to the last half of the question, but you replied. acknowledging that a reprieve would be given on the tail end versus.
I better understand the issue now. I think he was referring to the 3% mixed drink tax, which is, of course, the 3% additional sales tax or additional excise tax sold on any mixed drinks. He wants to be able to delay turning that money over to the city. He's already collected it. He just wants to delay turning it over. And we're taking a look at that legal question now. Uh-oh. Did I lose her?
It appears we've she's back.
Did we lose you?
I'm sorry. What part did I end on?
So I was responding that I think in looking at the particular email question was not about the business license or the occupational license. It was about the receipt of the 3% mixed drink tax, which is an excise tax, an additional excise tax sold on any mixed drinks. So the bars, I've already collected them. They wanted a delay in turning those over. And we're looking at that question now.
Okay, so that's something we're working on also?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Along the lines of what other communities are doing, I saw recently where Albany, Georgia received a $300+ million grant from the CARES Act. And this was in large part due to lobbying on behalf of their lobbyists in the state. So again, I don't know what our lobbyists are currently doing, but also wanted to know what position Savannah was in to be the recipient of such funds through grant opportunities like this, in that the dynamics they laid out with regard to why Albany qualified for these funds, they essentially mimic Savannah in that we too are a tourist community, as well as we have a very, very busy airport. So have you seen this? Do you know about it? And are we in position to apply for other grant dollars that are available through the stimulus? I understand that there's funding through community services grants to provide support with sheltering individuals, much like what Dr. Shabazz laid out, as opposed to making camps for homeless people. We can actually offer a little bit more compassion and dignity and bring our citizens indoors versus keeping them outdoors.
Ms. City Manager, I will respond to some of that. We received money from the CARES grant in terms of emergency shelter grant. I don't remember how much the amount was as a part of the CARES grant. I'm not familiar with Albany receiving 300 anything. Our fight has been on the national level, even here in the state of Georgia, is that the way that the funds have been levied out from the federal government in the current CARES package was that it would go to cities, the top cities that have a population of over 500,000. There is no city in the state of Georgia or South Carolina, for that matter, that has 500,000. So those CARE funds will not go to those cities. They will go to the states, for the states to then give them out to the cities. To my knowledge, as of last week, none of those funds have been levied yet, which is why we've been talking with our folks up in D.C. to be able to create an addendum in the next CARE package to allow those funds to come directly to cities. Ms. City Manager?
I understand that.
I'm saying,
am I still connected?
Yeah, you're here. You're there. You're there. You're connected. Well, you're not connected now. But Ms. City Manager, if you want to elaborate on that, because that's been our battle on the federal level.
Right. So the amount that you're referring to is $680,000 that came from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and that will be designated for the nonprofit agencies that the city already contracts with for homeless services. So we're working with those agencies to try to supplement their budget to provide expanded services. In addition to that, I related to council last week that the city has begun both the expanded food service program, since two of our homeless service providers shut down, and there are no, Emmaus House, for example, so there are no meals for the homeless. So the city is working with other agencies to supplement that as we speak.
Okay, so I understand and can appreciate those efforts, but what I would desire is that Savannah not miss an opportunity when it comes to competing for these funds that are available. I'm not making this up. It's in Albany News that Albany gets $18 million plus CARES Act from the CARES Act in an airport grant. Albany officials learned last Wednesday that the city will receive $18 million in coronavirus aid, recovery and economic stability funding for projects at the Southwest Regional Airport. And it goes on to read other areas in which this grant will aid the community in caring for the most vulnerable among them, specifically those businesses that have suffered, as well as the homeless population. I know you all are also in receipt of an email that lays out a myriad of grant opportunities for our communities, and this is without us having to be a community of 500,000. This is a grant opportunity where our staff could weed through the parameters of those grant opportunities and have our city take advantage of it. If I need to resend it to you, I can, but I actually received that from our city email.
Okay, we're ahead of you. So I believe that on the city airport funding, all the federal agencies are a little slow in releasing the requirements for any grant applications. The city has not, so the Office of Management and Budget, which handles most of the grant applications, is solely dedicated to taking a look at funding opportunities through the CARES. Now the airport, you mentioned City of Albany is getting 18 million. I think the city of Savannah is 27 million. 27 million. Yeah, the airport's already contacted me. I'm waiting to sign that application, and it should be sent off this week. So,
okay, so that was my initial question. I asked where were we, and you're saying that they received 18 and we received 27 of the same pocket of money?
We have not received any funding, but the city is applying for 27 million.
Okay, well, that answers my question. But again, there are other grant opportunities that I want to make sure that we are not missing. If you have directed staff accordingly, I'm simply asking to be informed of what that is so that we are certain that we are taking advantage of every opportunity.
If you want, I will start sending you a list of every application. I signed 2 today.
I don't intend to make this a laborious process, but I'm sure you are cognizant of where I'm going with this.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're making sure we are, for every opportunity that's available. For the rest of the council, the CARES Act gave Georgia airports $411 million. Obviously, Hartsfield got the bulk of that. And again, we got a little less than 27 million for that. Again, it was designated. Now we have to just do the process to receive those funds.
Well, so you're saying it's earmarked for us, but Mr. Monahan said that we have to apply for it.
For the air fund, right. The air fund, there's a chain of custody in terms of paperwork that has to be signed for us to get it in hand. And we're completing those documents.
Okay.
Thank you. Alderwoman Blakely. You are muted.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Again, hello, everybody. I don't have a whole lot to talk about today, but I just want to say, because the public is listening, that COVID-19 is real. A friend of mine, very close friend of mine, lost her father on Friday to COVID-19. I'm seeing people still not practicing social distancing. And, you know, until they say this is over and done, please, we have to reiterate to people to practice social distancing. And that's pretty much all I have to say today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Alderwoman Lanier. Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm really glad to see all of y'all's lovely faces. This sheltering at home, when there's only 2 people in the home, gets a little lonely. So I'm glad to see you all. But I just wanted to say that I have a neighbor who is also my coworker at ILA, we're the same age, and he's in critical condition with the virus, and we're asking for prayers. And in the neighborhood, understanding that we do have a resident that has been infected, there are a lot of questions about testing. So we've been speaking to some of our health partners, our alliance, and trying to find out the availability of testing. We've had some mobile services in the community, and so what I will be inquiring about is if there is any possibility or probability that we could get mobile testing. So this is a concern. I'm speaking to some folks that live in the neighborhood and work in the health care field, and also work at some of the local centers that have testing available to find out how we can increase testing. There are some stories where people ask for testing and wasn't able to get it. So hopefully we can remedy some of that, because I do understand that testing is going to give us a truer indication of how the virus is spreading in the area. And until we get those numbers in and control of that, we can't really entertain the discussion of reopening the economy. So I think right now testing is the key to find out exactly how much the virus has spread through the community. And I don't have anything else, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Alderman Leggett.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Hello, everybody. It's awesome to see all of you. Mr. Mayor,
you're up in the clouds today, huh?
Yeah, man, because I think that our economy is up in the clouds and our president and our leadership is up in the clouds, because they're really underreporting how many COVID-19 cases we do have. With the family members that I have who have been tested, some of the co-workers I've had, their family members have been tested and came up positive. And I don't see our numbers going up. And there's a lot of businesses who are losing their employees because of being tested or a lack of being tested. They just told them to wait it out. And I think that is something that really needs to be done, and they really need to take it seriously. I sent the email to the city manager, and also I CC'd you, and also Mr. Mayor and the police chief, because I wanted to know if we were all on the same page. And I'm not sure if any of the other alderpersons are receiving the same type of phone calls or asked to be come out in the community, because people are still having parties. People are having like big major events, and they're having fights and all kind of stuff, and police are being called out. And I just went out on Saturday night where there was something going on Park Avenue, and I went out, and some of the people are still saying the same thing. The police officers are not enforcing. They're just telling them to take it to the backyard or close down by 8:30. So I just want to get some clarification on what should we do moving forward, because I don't think people are really taking this seriously, and it's getting closer and closer to home. And I want all of us to be here at the end of the road.
Mr. City Manager, I would think that, and I'm sure the Chief Mentor is listening, but I would think that not a patrol officer or any member of our police force would ride by a disturbance, even on the beat level, and see this and not at least attempt to be able to break it up. I think to ride by it is irresponsible, or and break it up by 8:30 is that's not even based in law or fact. So if you would, if the chief is not listening, I'll relay that our concerns. I did talk with him about an event. It might have been on Park Avenue also on Saturday, and he said it was a bunch of folk out there.
It was, and I understand the supervisor who showed up at the scene distributed them and told them not to stop, to cease their activity, and that they disbanded after that.
Right. So,
it was after 11, Mr. Mayor, when I went out there, and they were still going. So, I mean, I told them that, the average age group on that block is between 60 and 90. So the people that live around there are not comfortable with that resident. I spoke with the homeowner who's renting the resident, and he's going to speak with them also. So it's an ongoing thing.
Mr. City Manager, you got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I guess and understand under this our current situation, under the governor's current order, the police, our police, does not have primary responsibility. It's supposed to be the Georgia State Patrol and the sheriff's offices. I believe that the chief is working with the sheriff's office to assist, and obviously, if we're familiar with something, they'll assist where they can. But I think being proactive, since we have officers on beats all throughout the city, if people are calling us, then obviously officers are riding by these opportunities. It's not hard to see if you see a bunch of cars somewhere and smoke coming from the backyard, there's something going on. And so we just need to make sure that we're more proactive in addressing those issues with city manager.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That's it, Alderman Leggett? Thank you, sir. Alderwoman Wilder Bryant, good afternoon, sir. Ma'am.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just have one question. Maybe you or city manager can point me in the right direction. I have a lot of people in the 3rd district, and I imagine over the city, who are eligible for unemployment, but they can't make the link, and the link that they go on, the prompts, I don't know if it's busy or if it's been inundated with so many people trying to get it. Is there any way we can contact the supervisors here to see what the status is on some of the claims? One of my constituents told me that they got approved, and they said that they deposited 3 weeks of 365, but he doesn't know where that money went, and there's no way of contacting the Department of Labor to find out where that money is. It's affecting at least 75% of the people here in Savannah. I know I saw something on a national story that they were having the same problems, but if we could make some kind of contact to at least give them another route or some kind of information so that they can get the money that they need to take care of what they need to take care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman. I actually was in contact with Commissioner Butler's office a couple of weeks ago about the same issue, and plan to reach out again this week. Essentially what's occurred throughout the state is that they are absolutely overwhelmed with the people calling in for unemployment claims, and basically the system has crashed. I wanted to offer any support that we can give to at least address the needs of folks here in Savannah, that we can provide space or help preparation work. If we could push information out of the information that need to be done to help expedite those, that we would do that. And so I'm going to reiterate my offer this week. It's been very difficult from what I understand for people to get through, but I will reach out again this week.
Also, would you please put on the link again the people who have not completed and the deposits? I think you have to go to a link for people who don't have direct deposits.
IRS for the stimulus?
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, we put that out there as we discussed as a public service, but the link, that their active link has died. Yeah, so we'll reach out to the feds again. I think it's probably just been overwhelmed.
Yes, I'm sure it has. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Alderman Palumbo, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. It's good to see all of you. Yeah, I think the key to getting through this from here is access to testing. So I know that the number of cases that we've had have increased to 185, but on the bright side, that is with dramatically different testing requirements that Dr. Davis instituted. So, that's a much larger amount of the population that's being tested right now, and with a faster turnaround. So I know that social distancing is working right now, and I encourage everybody that's tuning in, tell your friends, family, neighbors that it's tough out there right now, but it's working, and it's keeping us safe. Hopefully in the future, we'll get to the point where we can begin testing people who are asymptomatic to see how widespread this is and get a better picture of how we open up from beyond this. But one other thing to celebrate, coming up on April 27th, for 1 week and 1 week only, dry trash pickup and yard waste will return. I bugged the city staff about this a great deal, so I commend the city manager and Daphne Williams and Joe Shiras Jr. about this. What's really great about this is not only are we getting the pickup back, but this is coming without any additional assessment, no additional fees, no additional cost to the taxpayers. So I commend you guys and thank you. Keep up the great work.
And still protecting our employees. Thank you, Alderman Palumbo. Alderman Purdy, good afternoon, sir.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I don't have anything today. It's been sort of status quo, at least down here on this end. Just still answering a lot of questions that folks have, and we're directing those folks to the city website 311 and still trying to, I guess, provide the basic information that we can. But I don't have any questions. I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Alderman, Mr. City Manager, anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
Mr. Clerk? Okay, I think you said no.
Mayor Johnson?
Alderwoman Blakely?
Yes. Are the beauty supply stores open? They're not considered essential, are they?
Mr. Lovett?
Ma'am, I think, yes, they can be open so long as they practice social distancing and the other cautions that the governor laid out in his emergency order. Yes.
Thank you. Are we going to have an executive session on Thursday?
I was getting ready to announce that on Thursday, you know, evening council meeting starts at 6:30. I believe we're starting workshop, Mr. City Manager. At what time?
5:30 on the Union Canal District.
5:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so 5:30 will be our...
Unfortunately, on the ad, they told us 4:30. So.
4:30. It is 4:30.
Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you. It's 4:30, so 4:30 we'll be having it'll be a workshop session?
Yes.
Yeah.
A workshop session at 4:30, and then we anticipate a break for the workshop, and then we will reconvene at 6:30 to City Council. You know, we'll look forward to seeing you then. As you know, we won't have the update. We'll include the update in our during our meeting. So
okay.
But thank you all again so much. I'm glad.
Mayor Johnson, one more thing.
Woman Blakely.
I just want to tell Pat Monahan, thank you for responding to a young lady, Miss Sanders, in the Carver Village area. We had been speaking with her, giving her the same information that you gave her, and she was receiving of it. And I just want to say thank you, Pat Monahan, for giving her that information. Thank you.
He's a hard-working fella. But thank you all again. And again, please practice social distancing. We need all of you to be safe and well. And Alderwoman Lanier, if you think social distancing is hard with two in the house, imagine being the only one in your house. I am talking to myself in every single room, and the greatest part about it, everybody listens to what I have to say. So thank you all so much. Be safe, and we will see you on Thursday again. Just as a FYI, the governor speaks at 4 o'clock, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll prepare for the worst, but we'll pray for the best. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.